Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Pennsylvania Farm Show. My name is Stephanie Shirk, and on behalf of the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture's Agricultural Business Development Center, I thank you for joining us to celebrate an important milestone. 20 years of Pennsylvania's Centers of Excellence and the producers, partners, and public-private collaborations that have helped shape the strength of our agricultural economy. For 2 decades, the Centers of Excellence have played a vital role in turning strategic investment into real, on-the-ground impact, supporting farm families, advancing innovation, strengthening business decision-making, and building bridges across sectors, regions, and industries. These centers demonstrate what is possible when producer leadership, industry expertise, and state investment work together with a shared focus on economic vitality. Today's celebration is not only about reflecting on where we've been, but also about recognizing how collaboration continues to drive opportunity across Pennsylvania agriculture, from animal and plant systems to research, workforce development, and the next generation of farm businesses. We are honored to be joined today by members of our Pennsylvania State Legislature. Those members are Representative Tom Jones, Representative Rich Irvin, Representative Lee James, Representative Perry Stambaugh, Representative Dave Zimmerman, Representative Eric Nelson, and our Deputy Secretary Lisa Graybeal, along with industry leaders and producers whose experiences bring work to life. Thank you for your leadership, your partnership, and your commitment to a resilient and competitive future for Pennsylvania agriculture. With that, it's my pleasure to welcome our Deputy Secretary Lisa Graybeal to share her remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Stephanie. It's an honor to be here this morning as we celebrate the 110th Pennsylvania Farm Show and its theme, Growing a Nation. When we speak of growing a nation, we aren't just talking about the food on our plates. We're talking about the foundation of our economy, the health of our communities, and the security of our future. But growth of this magnitude doesn't happen by accident. It requires a deliberate bridge between the traditions of our heritage and the innovations of tomorrow. That bridge is built every day by our Centers of Excellence. We're extremely fortunate to have our Center for Dairy Excellence, Center for Poultry and Livestock Excellence, the Center for Beef Excellence, and just established in 2024, our Center for Plant Excellence. These centers enable us to provide resources for our farmers and industries across the Commonwealth. The centers serve as what I like to call the engine room in partnership with the Department of Agriculture, and we also couldn't do this work without our General Assembly. To all our legislators here today, thank you. I want to extend a really good thank you for your support. And it was through this support and with Governor Shapiro that $250,000 was secured, making our latest Center for Plant Excellence possible. Our partnerships are critical to ensure the growth and preparation for the future. While our farmers are on the front lines tending the soil, our poultry and dairy and livestock, these centers are behind the scenes, ensuring that the work is sustainable, profitable, and safe. Through their programs and grants, the centers provide technical expertise, market analysis, cost of production data that allow family farms to scale up and compete on a global stage. Their priorities include expanding processing capacity and biosecurity planning. They provide consultant services to help with transitioning to the next generation. And then they help prepare the next generation through pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs. The centers are helping to train our future ag leaders, ensuring the nation we are growing and has the skilled hands and minds it needs to thrive. The tie between growing a nation and the Centers for Excellence is simple. One is the vision and the other is the vehicle. The Farm Show then reminds us of our why. The families, the livestock here, and the vibrant agricultural principles of the Commonwealth. The Centers of Excellence provide the how. They ensure that Pennsylvania remains a leader in poultry, dairy, beef, plants and hardwoods, and specialty crops, proving that we don't just feed our neighbors, we fuel the progress of the entire country. As you walk these halls today, navigating all the people in here, look past the rows of the blue ribbons and see the infrastructure of excellence that makes it all possible. Together, we are growing a stronger, more resilient nation. But don't just take my word for it this morning. I offer Jim Shirk, he's the chairman of the Center for Poultry and Livestock Excellence, to come up and share his story. Thank you, Jim. Okay.
Thank you, Debbie. Good morning, everyone. Jim Shirk, chairman of the Center for Poultry and Livestock Excellence. The first thing that I want to do is say thank you. I want to say thank you to the legislature, to the governor, and to the Department of Agriculture for making these investments. These are real dollars that have real impacts every day on our Commonwealth. When you look at poultry, when you look at swine, when you look at goats, when you look at sheep, these are very, very growing and dynamic industries here in Pennsylvania, and these investments make a difference. It's a three-legged stool support. When you can bring together the government, you can bring together industry, and you bring together academia. We put all of those three together, and we have a very strong foundation to help build upon the growth we've already had here in Pennsylvania. Whether it's avian influenza, whether it's PRRS, whether it's some of the challenges that we see in the sheep and goat industry as they continue to expand, those problems find solutions and get funding to find solutions within these centers of excellence. So again, I just want to end by saying thank you to everyone who has helped make this possible, and I'm going to turn it back over to someone. I'm not sure who yet. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Next, we're going to hear from our representative from the Center for Plant Excellence, LEAF Project Executive Director Heidi Whitmer.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation to be here. As you heard, I'm Heidi Whitmer, the founder and executive director of the LEAF Project, which is a youth farming organization located nearby in beautiful Perry County. We're thrilled to be a part of the inaugural round of grant recipients from the new Center for Plant Excellence, and we're especially grateful that the center has chosen to invest both in research and career development, because it's that magic combination that will build the future of our industry. I'm going to use my time today to share a story, or really a chapter, two chapters in an ongoing story about two youth who are in the room today. I'd like to start with Emily Rose, and I'll share excerpts from a speech that Emily gave at the conclusion of the 2025 growing season. To give you a little background, Emily joined the LEAF crew in 2022, advanced into a peer leadership position in the next season, 2023, then was chosen by her peers to be a farm lead in 2024. Here's Emily. And eventually finished her time with LEAF as a farm fellow. This is our highest level of responsibility and one of true shared responsibility in our operation. So here are some of Emily's words. When I first started working at LEAF in 2022, I had never stepped foot on a farm. I grew up in Carlisle, 5 minutes out from a farm in every direction, but I never expected one of them to be a place where I would be sad to leave. I've changed a lot since that first day. I learned how to bunch radishes, trellis tomatoes, and how to run a successful pack out. I've learned how to lead a task with confidence, and I've learned how to fail in the field, how to make a mistake, course correct, and even laugh about it. At LEAF, we often talk about this idea of instinctual farming, the way you can just feel what's going well and what a plant might need. Farming is in my hands, yes, and it's in my mind, but it's mostly in my heart. To say I feel peace on the farm is not to say that farming is easy. Farming is hard, and it's sweat and dirt and pollen and every possible gross thing that you can think of. But to farm is to become in tune with your body, your mind, and the world around you. So my words again now. LEAF's work is built on a belief that Pennsylvania is full of agricultural leaders who just need a new way in. Programs like LEAF are all about opening doors to people who are from non-traditional farming backgrounds. For the second chapter of this story, I'd like to introduce, this is Sophia Meglio, and Sophia will be the 2026 Farm Fellow. So Sophia joined LEAF in 2023 and then also worked her way to this highest level of responsibility and shared authority in our operation. Here are some of Sophia's words. I never imagined myself as a farmer. Growing up in a rural area, I thought the farmers were old white men who grew corn and soy and maybe had a few cows, not somebody like me. While I loved to play in the woods, dig in the soil, and even gardened at home, I never considered agriculture as a possibility for myself. At first, farming was just a list of tasks, but over time, it held more meaning. I started to understand the why that we did the things and reflect more deeply on the process. With that understanding, I felt a connection build that I never knew was missing. For me, farming became more than work. It became my way of taking ownership over my impact. Farming may not be the future I pictured, but is now the future I'm choosing. All right, my words again. Emily and Sophia are both here with me today. I hope you'll please take a moment to meet them. They are inspiring and encouraging. Emily is now pursuing an environmental science degree at the University of Delaware, and Sophia, as you just heard, is pursuing a future in agriculture. They both came from a rural background or in an area that was agriculturally vibrant, did not see themselves as belonging to the food system or agriculture, joined our program, and then went through that door. They now, as you can hear, have bright and impactful futures, not just for them, but for all of us. That's what strong agricultural workforce pathways can do. Funding training programs that engage a diverse population isn't an add-on. It is essential infrastructure for the future of farming in Pennsylvania. The Center for Plant Excellence funding doesn't just support exposure, it creates pathways where young people can truly try on agriculture and see themselves in it. As inspiring as Emily and Sophia are, their stories are not unique, and that's the point. Across Pennsylvania, there are young people who don't yet see agriculture as a place for them. Programs like LEAF can create the conditions that make that shift happen. The Center for Plant Excellence makes it possible for organizations like LEAF to do this work well, to connect research, industry, and young people in ways that are hands-on, relational, and real. Because young people feel proud, connected, and trusted with real work, don't just learn about agriculture, they learn about themselves and they carry us all forward. It's an honor to work alongside these remarkable young people, to share their story with you, and to be in the room with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi, for sharing about some of the innovative opportunities that exist across the agricultural industry. Next, we are going to hear from a dairy farmer who works with the Center for Dairy Excellence, Kendra Nisley from Jubilee Heritage Cheese.
Thank you so much. Today is really about teamwork. I would not be here except for you. Lisa, the bridge you talked about building, that's teamwork. The youth that are here and have been mentored into agriculture, that's teamwork. So many thanks to the Center for Dairy Excellence for making it possible for our children, as the 10th generation farming regionally, to think about continuing to farm. It's tough. The margins are tight. The conversations are rather difficult. But the Center for Dairy Excellence has empowered us, whether it's through Profit Team and helping us understand more about cow comfort, whether it's introducing us to the PA Preferred program and helping us put a logo on our little cheeses that we sell from our cow's milk, or most importantly, farm transition. Dr. Reed, who's a consultant for the Center for Dairy Excellence, is a masterful facilitator. Farm transition, and I believe transition of any kind is difficult. And with his help, our family was able to sit down and discuss and say, how can we make this work? This is not easy. And I learned, just a tidbit for the wise, in transition, when everybody walks away a little bit unhappy, it was done correctly. So more importantly, and perhaps most importantly, with the global world we're in, the Center for Dairy Excellence has empowered us to connect with the Pennsylvania Department of Ag for our biosecurity plan. That's not easy either. So thanks to all the help that we were able to get, we completed our biosecurity plan. The Center for Dairy Excellence gave us this little kit, very practical. I have it on my shelf at home. It has the booties in. So anybody who visits our farm wears the biosecurity booties, brushes their boots off, and one more step towards preserving our family farm. I cannot say enough about teamwork, folks. We're in this together. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Kendra, for sharing your passion about our generational farms here in Pennsylvania and how those public-private collaborations and partnerships can go a long way. Next, we have farmer Scotty Miller from Masonic Villages Farm.
Good morning. I'm Scotty Miller, farm manager of Masonic Villages here in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. I've had the honor of serving on the Pennsylvania Beef Council, Center for Beef Excellence, and the Beef Producers Working Group, all of which directly benefit from the Ag Excellence funding to put each of these groups' missions to work at a very high level. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today and give a sincere thank you to the Pennsylvania Department of Ag, our legislative leaders, and our partners who continue to recognize the value of investing in Pennsylvania agriculture, and specifically in Pennsylvania's beef industry. Your support through the Ag Excellence line item sends a clear and powerful message that beef matters in this Commonwealth, not only as a food source, but as an economic engine, a rural cornerstone, and a generational legacy worth protecting and strengthening. Pennsylvania's beef industry is a significant contributor to our state's success. Today, it fuels nearly $9 billion in economic activity, supports more than 37,000 jobs, and contributes over $2 billion to Pennsylvania's GDP. Those numbers represent real people, farm families, processors, veterinarians, educators, truck drivers, and small businesses in every corner of our state. But what truly makes this investment meaningful is how these funds are used. Through the beef line item, we are strategically reinvesting in the industry in ways that create long-term value and measurable impact. First, we're strengthening beef education initiatives through the Pennsylvania Beef Producers Working Group and the Beef Quality Assurance Program. These efforts ensure that Pennsylvania producers are equipped with the latest best practices in animal care, sustainability, and food safety, standards that today's consumers expect and also deserve. Secondly, we're investing directly back into our farms through the Center for Beef Excellence's grant initiatives. These grants help improve farm infrastructure, enhance herd genetics and resilience at the farm level. They also help ensure that Pennsylvania beef remains competitive in an ever-evolving marketplace. And finally, we recognize that reaching beyond the farm gate is essential to investing in the next generation. Through programs like PA Beef to PA Schools, Beefing Up Backpacks, we're connecting students and families with nutritious, locally raised beef, while supporting Pennsylvania farmers at the same time. These initiatives do more than provide meals. They build awareness, trust, and appreciation for where food comes from and the people who produce it, all while creating new market opportunities for Pennsylvania farms. Together, these efforts reflect a shared vision, one that supports farmers and producers today, while also cultivating future beef consumers and industry leaders for tomorrow. So on behalf of Pennsylvania beef producers and the organizations that serve them, I want to extend our sincere thanks to the Department of Agriculture and to our lawmakers for recognizing the value of this work. Your commitment through the Ag Excellence line item is helping to build a stronger, more resilient, and more prosperous beef industry, one that continues to invest in farms, families, and communities, and the future of Pennsylvania agriculture. Thank you for your leadership, your partnership, and your continued belief in Pennsylvania beef.
Thank you all for joining us here today as we work to celebrate the vision and the forethought of putting together the centers of excellence and bringing together, as we said, government, legislature, Department of Ag, our industry or service partners, our farm families, and all of those service providers who work to ensure that we have collaboration and teamwork to be able to bridge this generation of Pennsylvania agriculture into the next. We are appreciative that you joined us today, and we are honored for your participation here. Thank you all for joining us. And your commitment to a resilient and competitive future for Pennsylvania agriculture. With that, it's my pleasure to welcome our Deputy Secretary, Lisa.
Lines tending the soil, our poultry and dairy, and livestock. These centers are behind the scenes, ensuring that the work is sustainable, profitable, and safe. Cost of production data that allow family farms to scale up and compete on a global stage. Their priorities include expanding processed hog excellence, the Center for Beef Excellence, and just established in 2024, our Center for Plant Excellence. These centers enable us to provide resources for our it has the skilled hands and minds it needs to thrive. The tie between growing a nation and the Centers for Excellence is simple. One, the vibrant agricultural principles of the Commonwealth. The Centers of Excellence provide the how. They ensure that Pennsylvania remains a leader in our neighbors. We fuel the progress of the entire country. As you walk these halls today, navigating all the people in here.
Thank you, Jim. Next, we're going to hear from our representative from the Center for Plant Excellence, Leaf Project Executive Director Heidi Whitmer.
Good morning, everyone. To people who are from non-traditional farming backgrounds. For the second chapter of this story, I'd like to introduce Sophia Meglio, and Sophia will be the 2026 Farm Fellow. So Sophia joined Leaf and Body Your Mind in the World Around You. So my words again now. Leaf's work is built on a belief that Pennsylvania is full of agricultural leaders. Growing up in a rural area, I thought the farmers were old white men who grew corn and soy and maybe had a few cows. Not somebody like me. While I love to play in the woods, dig in the soil,
To sit down and discuss and say, how can we make this work? This is not easy. And I learned just a tidbit for the wise in transit and one more step towards preserving our family farm. I cannot say enough about teamwork, folks. We're in this together. Thank you, thank you. That's not easy either. So thanks to all the help that we were able to get, we completed our biosecurity plan. Center for Dairy Excellence gave us this little kit, very practical. I have it on my shelf.
Thank you, Kendra, for sharing your passion about our generational farms here in Pennsylvania and how those public-private collaborations